I'd like to welcome 8-time wrestling champion Bobby Lashley to Sidewalks Entertainment. Hi, Bobby. Thank you so much for joining us.
Dang, thank you for having me. 8 times, huh?
Maybe more, give or take a few. So, former mixed martial artist, 8-time wrestling champion, reflecting back on the start of your career, how did you get into wrestling and how did that later lead to your career as a professional wrestler and mixed martial artist?
I got into professional wrestling from amateur wrestling. I was amateur wrestling at the Olympic Training Center, and Kurt Angle came in and he was doing a video with WWE. And when he was doing that video, he saw me and he said, "Hey, you got a good look. You ever think about doing professional wrestling?" And at the time, I was a big fan of Kurt through amateur wrestling and through professional wrestling. So, of course, I was excited that he was talking to me about it. And then he and I exchanged numbers. One thing led to another. They called me back and they offered me a tryout. I came and did the tryout, and they offered me a job, and the rest was kind of history.
So I'm surprised that you're not like a superhero in a couple of movies or TV shows, or yeah. So have you been offered film roles and TV roles throughout your career?
I did a handful of movies when I was in between, when I was fighting there for a while. From my first run in WWE until my second run, I did about 4 or 5 little small parts, but it was kind of like they needed that big bad villain to come in there, and I played that part. And of course, I got killed every time. But I was offered things afterwards. Also, I was offered. There's a Mortal Kombat position that I was offered. There was Stranger Things. There's a lot of different ones that I was offered afterwards, and I think at the time I wasn't really focused on doing that, because I was fighting at the time. I was trying to get back into professional wrestling. So the acting part was something that I was interested in, but I don't think it was the right timing. And then when I came back into WWE, I started doing some more acting classes, kind of working on that part of it. And now I'm more open to doing it. And we have some different projects in line right now, but I think that I can see myself kind of moving into a bigger role and doing some more movies and everything like that when I slow it down in professional wrestling.
Yeah, to see you in a movie would be awesome. I mean, I could picture you in like Guardians of the Galaxy or Avengers type films, or even like sci-fi, like Star Wars or something. You'd be amazing.
Okay, those are all great shows to be a part of, and I would love to be in any one of them. So whoever's watching, call me.
I know, right? That would be amazing. We need to make this happen, because I'll also be your number one fan for your characters in the movies that you do.
Right. We called it.
So, as a professional wrestler, what type of work do you do during your work week when fans don't see you on TV?
I separate myself from work when I'm not at work. But I still always work on my craft, and I always hone my craft. Like you said, the acting thing is something that's gonna come back later on. So we're kind of working on some projects to kind of keep that going. But then a big thing that I love to do is I love to flip houses, and I love to work with real estate. So I've been doing a lot with that, and we've been actually filming a reality show that kind of deals with me, my team, how we put together different flips and go from place to place, and showing some of the guys that I'm in business with and some of the young athletes and some of the young professionals how to get into the real estate world. So we're playing with that a little bit also. But outside of that, I am just spend time with my kids and relax and decompress. So that I always say that because I like to keep a separation from my home life and my professional life, because I want to keep the hunger there. I think sometimes people never turn it off. They're always there's 2 Bobby Lashleys. There's a Bobby Lashley that comes home, and Bobby Lashley the dad, and there's a Bobby Lashley that's on TV, which that guy's a little more aggressive. So when I when I leave TV, I take off the angry Bobby Lashley, and I try to be just the home life Bobby Lashley. And then when I come back, I put the hat back on. So I have a good separation between the two.
Nice, nice. So, big events like the Survivor Series, how do you prepare for something like that?
I look at Survivor Series as probably one of our biggest premium live events because
Mm-hmm.
we have a handful that are very staple, and that was one of my biggest ones when I first started out. I had an opportunity to get in the ring with like Rey Mysterio, The Big Show, Kane, Shawn Michaels, all these big names, Batista, all these big names in Survivor Series. So I thought it was so cool, and
And now
this
you're
one
one of
coming.
them.
And now, and now I'm one of the guys that people are going to be talking about. But
Yeah.
this particular premium live event is one that people really should tune into because I think this is one that sets up the feuds for the coming year. We have Royal Rumble coming up. We have the Elimination Chamber. We have, of course, WrestleMania. So whatever happens, this premium live event at Survivor Series is going to continue on into probably Mania. So I think that this is a very important one so that people can kind of say, oh, I see what's going on. This guy's aligning with this guy's aligning with this guy's having a feud with this guy. And these are some of the events that are going to last throughout the rest of the year and then culminate at WrestleMania. So I think this is a very, very, very important show, Survivor Series.
Nice, nice. So, as you mentioned, being a part of the Survivor Series for the first time, how would you describe what your experience was like appearing on the Survivor Series for the very first time? And how different was it compared to your experience being on the Survivor Series now?
Well, when I first went on it, I remember there was one time where all the teams were coming out, right? So I was in the ring and I was on Team SmackDown. And I remember standing in the ring
Mm-hmm.
and I was one of the first people to come out. So the crowd's like hype. And I come down and I jump in the ring and I'm like, and I'm being me. I'm full Bobby Lashley at this point. And then the
Nice.
next one comes out, the next one comes out, I think it's like Big Show. Then after that, Rey Mysterio comes out. And I went from hopping around the ring, like, just like getting into it to kind of my hands dropping down. I kind of come out of it. And then I'm just like staring at the entrance like a fan. Like I was like at awe, like I was blown away. It was when I first started wrestling. It's like my first year in it. And I'm in the ring with like some of the greatest wrestlers ever. And then I remember Ray comes by me and he slaps me on the arm because stop being a fan. I was like, oh, okay. Sorry about that. But it kind of took me back a little bit because I was standing in the ring and I was seeing all these cool entrances. Shawn Michaels' entrance, the Big Show's entrance, Rey Mysterio popping up from out of the ground, booyaka, booyaka. And it was like, I went from being a character to being a fan, and then Ray had to snap me back out of it and put me back there. And I think that's the coolest thing about wrestling. It's like there's so many parts of a wrestling show that make people fans. I mean, one is just hearing that music. You hear Broken Glass and you think
Mm-hmm.
Stone Cold's coming out. It's like, are you here? Can you smell? Everybody would lose it.
Yeah.
There's so many different parts of the wrestling show that's just so cool. And the entrance is definitely one of them. And I think that's what we're having again. I mean, this one is like, you're going to
Yeah.
have all of some awesome stuff. My entrance is awesome. You see Seth coming out, swinging his hands up in the air. You hear awesome. You hear all these different ones come. You hear Roman's like 20-minute entrance to the ring. You see all these things, and that's what's cool about wrestling, and that's why this live event, this premium live event, is going to be such a special one, just because of that.
Well, oh my gosh, that is so awesome. I had such a great time speaking with you today, but sadly we are out of time. But thank you so much for taking time to speak with me today.
Thank you. Anytime.
Thanks, Lori and Bobby. You can see him and all the WWE wrestling superstars and their premium live events like the Survivor Series streaming on Peacock. For more full-length celebrity interviews, visit us at sidewalkstv.com, our YouTube channel, and don't forget to follow us on social media.